Welcome to incredibly useful exercises for the double bass, where we condition specific aspects of our performance in short, stolen moments. Today, we'll explore the concept of musical expression, specifically the expressive element of dynamics. How do we get dynamics as string players? And what does it mean to be expressive and musical? It's a big question, but actually simple to answer. Let's explore the growing bow scale. I want to thank Joey Nager for his generous support of this series. Joey has been my go-to luthier for over 5 years. He sculpted my fingerboards buzz-free on both my 1850 English orchestra bass and my solo bass, making them so easy to play, and his tone work on my basses keeps them sounding full, free, and beautiful. Many professional working bassists throughout Texas rely on Joey for fixing and maintaining their treasured instruments. The Joey Nager prize-winning basses are also wonderful instruments. Please visit Joey's website listed below, and if you happen to be in the Houston area, pay him a visit to play his basses and to see how he can improve the playability and tone of your instrument. The growing bow scale is 2 minutes long, expression is a 5, control is 3, mindfulness and coordination are 2, and the rest are 0. We play the growing bow scale for the exercise of expressive dynamics and for the exercise of controlling dynamics with varying bow speeds. Every music student at some point in their growth has to face the question, what does it mean to be musical? And here's my answer to that. Music is a universal language, and this means that as a musician, I feel comfortable that, with very few exceptions, I can go anywhere in the world and connect musically with another human being in any culture during any time on this planet. And that's a mighty nice superpower. It's communication, and all communication is made up of 2 parts: what you say and how you say it. Research shows that when you communicate, the way that listeners receive your message is based only on about 20% on what you say, and 80% on how you say it. 20% content, 80% context. For example, I can articulate the words to the Gettysburg Address. 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. But since I'm saying it without expression, it seems meaningless. However, I can also read you the ingredients on a chewing gum wrapper with expression. Gum base from the latex chicle of the sapodilla tree, softeners, sweeteners, and flavorings. And now you can believe it contains the secrets of the universe. And it's the same with music. The notes are the message. When we play, the message will be received only about 20% on the notes and 80% on the expression or musicality you use when you play the notes. Which brings us back to the original question. What does it mean to be musical? Musicality is another word for expression. If we play with expression, we're musical. So what's expression? Expression is the energy that happens during moments of change of one of the expressive elements of music. Music, in our case, string music, has 7 musical elements that we control: tempo, dynamics, timbre, pitch, vibrato, articulation, and duration. When we create changes in one of those expressive elements, it attracts the listener's ear. For example, if I gradually go faster, the listener notices tempo and gets interested. If I start to get louder, the listener notices and gets interested in dynamics. And now, if I stay loud, the listener won't have anything to be interested in, and they'll start hoping for change elsewhere. So think of it like riding in a car. If I'm going 10 miles an hour, I'll get comfortable. Not because I'm going slow, but because I'm going steady. Now, let's say I have a really strong engine and I floor it, and it takes me 6 seconds to accelerate to 80 miles per hour. For those 6 seconds, while I'm accelerating, I feel a sense of thrill. Now, say that I arrive at 80 miles per hour and now I'm just going fast. After a while, I get comfortable again, even though I'm going really fast, but it's not changing. To experience energy again, I either need to change faster or decelerate. It's the change from one state to another that creates expression. In the case of those 7 musical elements, it's the job of an artist to learn to control each element and, more importantly, to gain control over how to change the state of those elements individually without it causing unwanted changes in the other elements. And those changes don't have to be big. In fact, it's better for communication to make a lot of small changes rather than a lot of big changes. By the way, many of the incredibly useful exercises focus on elemental isolation. Tempo does not equal dynamics. Color and dynamics are different, and so on. This expressive control takes a long time to learn. In fact, it's a common measuring stick for the progress of a musician or any artist. At each stage of an artist's life, there are telltale markings of progress in each stage. As a beginner, a person learns to do a thing. They demonstrate competency. As an intermediate player, a person learns to do a thing repeatedly. This is consistency and control. And as an advanced player, a person learns to do a thing expressively. This is sophistication. So expressive control is an advanced skill, and it's never too early to start learning it. Okay, let's look at the growing bow. The growing bow exercise is about expressive dynamics, crescendos and decrescendos. How do we, as string players, play loud or soft? With bow speed alone, not with weight or placement, with bow speed. Why? Because volume equals amplitude. And you can see the amplitude by looking at the string. If the string is fat, it's a large amplitude and therefore loud. If the string is skinny, it's a small amplitude and therefore quiet. If you're using a fast bow speed, you make the string go fat. If you're using a slow bow speed, it's skinny. Here, I have 5 flags on my bow. If I play to the second flag, I'm playing piano. The third flag is mezzo forte, the fourth is forte, and the fifth is fortissimo. For all of the flags, I'm keeping the weight and placement the same. I don't want to change the timbre or tempo. I only want to change volume. So watch as I play steady 16th notes, but gradually play from the second flag to the third, fourth, fifth, and back. So with control, I can do neat tricks like go from the 5th flag suddenly back to the 2nd flag for a subito piano, or from the 2nd flag suddenly to the 5th flag for a subito fortissimo. So think of it technically. If I decide to change any dynamic, it becomes a bow division issue. We tend to use bow division to solve only rhythmic problems, but at the expressive level, creative bow division solves dynamic problems as well. Like bow management isn't complicated enough already. So that's why it's tricky to incorporate. But like everything, if you think about it enough, you'll get the hang of it. So now I'll remove the flags and play 16th notes, and I don't need to go fast for this. In fact, you can pretty much just go at any tempo. Just ask yourself, what's the most amount of bow I can use as a 16th note at this tempo? Slower tempo, you can use more bow. And that will be your fortissimo level. So here's how we play the growing bow scale. We change dynamics with bow speed, keeping the weight and placement consistent. I practice in every part of the bow, keeping the bow hair flat, and except for subito dynamics, I keep the bow speed changes gradual. Before I play, I plan my recovery strategy because once I start, I don't let any mistake or fatigue stop me, just like in live performance. My key word for this exercise is amplitude. I make the strings go fat and skinny. By paying attention to the mechanics of the strings more than the emotional energy of the music, it helps me stay objective and balanced. Also, if I find myself pressing too hard, I gradually release the weight and adjust the bow speed until the tone is beautiful. All right, let's play. Ready? Go. and that is the growing bow scale. The term growing bow comes from one of the many inspirational conversations I'm lucky enough to have with the spectacular teacher Kate Jones in Dallas. Thank you, Kate. My favorite application of the growing bow technique is in the running 16th note passages in Baroque sonatas. Here's a little bit of the second movement of the Marcello E minor sonata, first without the growing bow, showing consistency. Now, here's the same passage with the growing bow technique, demonstrating expressive dynamics. Expressive dynamics makes the line come alive, and it's now interesting to play and hear. Sometimes, when you've run out of musical ideas, simply growing the bow a little bit in the line is all it takes to add an expressive dimension to your music. After you've studied this, I hope you find yourself playing more musically, and I hope you notice how much more your listeners will receive your message. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you find the growing bow scale as useful for your performance as it has been for mine. I present this in the way that I've used and benefited from it, and I never intend to say that it's the only way to practice or approach dynamics. You can adapt these ideas to your style of curiosity, conditioning, or teaching. Practice this and all exercises in this series in short, stolen moments, or incorporate them into your regular conditioning routine. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and leave any questions, comments, observations, success stories, or suggestions below. Please check out the incredibly useful exercises series of workout books available in paperback and ebook on the Amazon site in your country. I look forward to you joining me next time. Thank you, and be well, friends. It makes the line come alive. Oh, God. Start it one more time.